Alright, so now we're actually going to sketch an entire graph of a rational function all by ourselves. It's going to be amazing. So let's start by plotting the intercepts because they're the easiest points to find. So first let's set 0 equal to 2x squared minus 18x plus 16 over x squared minus 2x minus 8. And whenever a rational function is equal to 0, that means the numerator is equal to 0. Whenever any fraction is equal to 0, it means the numerator is equal to 0. And then we can go ahead and factor out a 2. So we end up with 2 times x squared minus 9x plus 8. And that factors as 2 times x minus 1 times x minus 8. So we have two x-intercepts, x equals 1 and x equals 8. Let's go ahead and plot those. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now if we look at our rational function and we want to find the y-intercept, we're just going to plug in 0 for y. So r of 0, that's 2 times 0 minus 18 times 0 plus 16 over 0 minus 2 times 0 minus 8. And that's just 16 over negative 8, which is negative 2. So y equals negative 2 is our other intercept, so we're going to plot that point right here. So next we'll work on asymptotes. My horizontal asymptote, the degree of the numerator is 2, the degree of the denominator is 2, 2 equals 2. So I get to just take my leading coefficients, which is 2 over 1. So my horizontal asymptote is y equals 2 over 1, or just y equals 2. And so I'll go ahead and plot that guy. Now plot it in blue just to make it clear that I'm allowed to pass through my horizontal asymptote. Rational functions don't pass through vertical asymptotes, but they do pass through horizontal ones, sometimes. So next let's work on vertical asymptotes. And for that, let's go ahead and factor our rational function just to make sure it's reduced. We already factored the top. And the denominator is going to factor as x plus 2, x minus 4. So nothing cancels, so we have two vertical asymptotes. When x plus 2 equals 0, that'll give me 1, and x minus 4 equals 0, that'll give me the other. So x equals negative 2, and x equals 4. So one of them is here. That's my line x equals negative 2, and then x equals negative 4 goes here. So now I'm going to keep in mind that the intercepts that I plotted, those are the only places where my graph crosses the axis, right? So at the far left, if I know my graph never crosses the x-axis, then I know that it has to be above the x-axis all the time because it has to approach my line y equals 2. So I have to look like this. That's my only option. Similarly, over here, I have to start at negative infinity. I know it's either positive or negative infinity, but I don't cross the x-axis on the left-hand side of the y-axis. So I'm going to start here, and then I'm going to go through both of my intercepts, and then head up to my second vertical asymptote at x equals 4. Now it's possible that we could have gotten to this point 1, 0 and then turned around and headed towards negative infinity. So we can plug in 2 for x just to make sure that we should be on the positive side of the axis. We end up with 2 times 1 times negative 6. I'm plugging it into the factored form. And then 4 times negative 2. So that is equal to negative 12 over negative 8. So that's going to be right about here. And so we should be on the positive side of the x-axis, right? This is just positive 3/2. So now all that's left to figure out is whether we're approaching the vertical asymptote x equals 4 towards negative infinity or positive infinity from the right. And to do that, I'll do the same thing that I did before. I'll just plug in this case, 5. And what I'll end up with is 2 times 4 times negative 3 over 7 times 1. And that'll give me negative 24 over 7, which is slightly less than 3. So that'll be right about here. And so I'm below the x-axis, so I must be approaching negative infinity. And then I'll pass through my intercept, and I'll come up. So this is roughly the graph of my rational function. Let's go ahead and check it to make sure I got everything right. And so here's my function plotted in Desmos along with all of my asymptotes. And you can even check to make sure that your intercepts are right if you check this out. So my picture is mostly right. You know, I don't necessarily have the right scale, but we don't have calculus yet, so we can't necessarily find things like maxes, mins, inflection points, and things like that. So if you know what those are and you want to do that, hold on. You have to wait a semester. All right. Good job.